Hello, everyone. The long awaited day for me is here. In just a few seconds or minutes, the amazing, the icon, Rolonda Watts will be joining me here. Um, she's got just such an amazing spirit, and she's here now. You can catch this for yourself. Let's see. Waiting for Rolonda Watts.
Hello.
Yes, hello. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am like beyond the moon, seriously. Like you are an icon. I don't know if you knew this, but you're an icon. You're amazing. But you know what's more than anything is just your spirit. Your spirit is so
Thank you.
wonderful. And I
Oh,
just want to
honey.
say thank you.
Well, from such a high-spirited, positive young lady, I appreciate that. It's a choice to be positive and to be happy, and it's work. It takes work. You
It
just don't
does.
always wake up happy, but yeah, I think it's the best choice, especially during these times. You know?
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. Much respect for these times. A lot of people are having a tough time and suffering. A lot of things going on. So it's just nice to be able to receive that spirit, and I always like to give it myself. So I believe in sort of law of attraction type stuff. And just before I got on, I got a message on my Instagram, and it was from the Actors Studio. I'm sorry, something like that, and it said, "Good things take time." And just before that, I was talking with my husband about how some of the times I've had to reinvent myself. Girl, reinvention is real. Auntie wrote,
Mhm.
reinvention is so real.
You know what? It's my life. They call me the reinventionist. That's how much because you know what? Here's the way I look at it. God has given you so many gifts. And
Definitely.
sometimes when your back's against the wall, that's when you got to reach down deep and pull them out.
I
And
agree.
and you can really soar when you do that. It's not as scary as it sounds, change and doing something totally different. But when you're doing something that is authentically who you are and something that makes you
Yes.
so happy and
Yes.
enthusiastic about doing it,
Yes. And you get
and
up
I
like,
love that word enthusiasm because the root of it is theos, God. So that's
yes,
a God spirit in you that's saying, ooh, this feels good. I love it. And right now is the time to branch out and try different things, I think, because we have to reinvent everything right now. Nothing's going to be the
right,
same, you know?
right. When I was on your webinar, which I'll tell the guests about in a little while, one of the things that you talked about was the need for comedians to reinvent themselves. And I'm doing another live tonight with one of my friends that's a comedian, and you've done stand up as well. And I'm just like, it takes such bravery. I wanted to do it myself. But how do you think a comedian can reinvent themselves now?
Well, I think it's not reinventing yourself so much as it is reinventing the vehicle. In other words, you can't
Yeah,
reinvent the wheel, but you can reinvent the vehicle. A wheel can be on a
that's true.
tricycle, it can be on a scooter, it can be on a
Yes,
unicycle, it can be on a Ferrari, it can be on a broke down Chevy. A wheel is a wheel, but the vehicle, what's going to get you there, can change.
that's true.
Comedians are going to have to, I mean, if anything changes, some of your material may change because there's great material in the coronavirus lockdown. A lot of
There
family stuff going
is.
to come out.
They
And
be
there's
talking about the
also
Rona.
a change in the way that we do things. We can't do things in front of crowds. All of us had our rug pulled out from under us when our shows were canceled, and all of us depend on crowds. Well, something, maybe you don't have to depend on a crowd. Maybe you get in front of a virtual background and you litter rip and you still maintain an audience. There are
Right.
people who are getting agents right now because they're performing online. So
That's true.
yeah, you reinvent the way you reinvent your stage. You just blast out your act. You keep writing in these times. You keep observing in these times, and then you find a vehicle to get your comedy out there. There's ways to
Right.
do it. Yep.
Well, speaking of enthusiasm, on your webinar, I came up with my awesome dance and I named it. I named
I
it. It's going to
know
come up backwards. It's going to come up backwards, but it's called Damish
the
for
mish.
Michelin. Damish.
We're gonna do
So we're
the
going to do the mish.
mish.
Look at you. Auntie Ro is doing the mish. That's
Listen, you
right.
talk
That's
about were so wonderful on my webinar. We had so much fun. The next thing I knew, everybody's doing like this.
Everybody was doing a match. It was so awesome.
It looked like the Brady Bunch. All the faces up. We were having a good time, and I appreciate your enthusiasm too. I'm having another webinar tomorrow, by the way.
What time is your webinar, and where can they find you?
And you can, go to Rolonda.com, ROLONDA, and just save your seat. It's a free webinar, and I'm doing all these weekly webinars on Webinar Wednesday, I call them. But it's all part of Rolonda's Reinvention Retreat, talking about the art of reinvention. And this week, we're going to be talking about the art of voice acting. I started my voice career when I was unemployed as an actor and had left my talk show, had given up the news, and I was sitting on a beach. The writers in Hollywood had a big strike, and I had to come up with something else to do. And who knew when I said, well, I've got a voice, I called 411. You're probably too young to remember this, but back
I remember 411.
Okay,
I remember 411. And I remember calling for time too. I remember.
And the operator knew my voice. She was like, is this Rolonda?
Oh, you serious?
Rolonda. And I would be, so I said, well, maybe I could have a voice career. And, I tried and I tried, but it wasn't until I took a workshop and really took it seriously and did the work did I break into voice. And who knew at that time when I was on that picket line serving pizza, wondering where the next paycheck was coming from.
Right.
Who knew that I would launch a career where I was the voice of Judge Joe Brown, Divorce Court. I'm Professor Wiseman on Curious George.
I know. Look at that. Look at that.
And
That's so
I'm
awesome.
in Madagascar. I've worked with Tyler Perry. I'm a voice of Google, Boeing. And so I want to celebrate that you can reinvent yourself or just come and have fun in my workshop. But we're going to be 4:00 tomorrow Pacific time, 7:00 Eastern time. And go to Rolonda.com and save your seat now. It's absolutely free. And I'll let you know the Zoom information and come on in. And we're just going to have fun talking about the art of voice acting.
That's going to be awesome. Well, speaking of voice acting, one thing that I think might have helped me in my career, because I actually have a journalism degree and I listened to a lot of what you said. And the time that I got my degree was probably around the same time that you were closing up your show because of your integrity. And I really honestly felt like I would have had to sell my soul in order to be a success. That's what I felt. But what do you think? I think that if I'd had some actual classes in the business of show business, that might have made a difference for me. What do you think? Do you think that would have changed anything for you?
Well, I think that you're smart in recognizing that show business is show and then it's business.
Yes.
And it is a business of show a lot of times as well. You have to learn to read the subtitles. You have to learn how to take rejection after rejection. You have to learn how to survive when people promise you pilots that never come through.
Right.
Everybody's got a project, but you have to know who you are and what your talents are. And whatever those talents are, yes, you have to do the work. I mean, Faith, there's a little girl who is she's just, you guys are going to see her. She's going viral. Little girl who talks about faith without works is dead. And I said, from the mouths of babes, but that's the truth. I mean, my mom and dad used to always say to me, God believes in matching grants. You do the work, he'll meet you the other way. You ask, you will receive, but that's after you've done your work. That's the receipt on the work that you put in. So yes, I do believe it's important. Most of the great actors that you see out here in Hollywood are still going to the workshops. They may have Emmy Awards behind them, Oscars behind them, but they still take those workshops. They always are honing their craft. This is an art. It's a craft.
It is an art.
You just don't show up and say, hey, I want to be a voice actor.
Exactly.
You really got to know how to approach the mic, understand how the industry is, especially now under coronavirus. But I tell you what, people are working out of their closets. The equipment is easy to get today. If that is something you're interested in, it could possibly be a tremendous career. It's certainly one of my favorite careers ever. And I tell you, if I'd have known about it a long time ago, because a lot of young people are getting into it now, and I'm so glad, because animation is their world today. Gaming and all of that stuff, not to mention, other forms of voice artistry, but it's something you can do right from home and make money.
Exactly. You know, I think for you, when I look at you, when I think about you, you're like the perfect mix of you ain't gonna get one over on me, and also, oh look at you, Precious, you're so sweet. Look at you. How do you manage that?
Well, you know something, I don't know. You just,
Is that accurate? Maybe it's not accurate.
no, I think it is accurate. I mean, I haven't been 40 years in a business where we eat our young being a total sweetheart all the time. Sometimes
I
this is
know,
what you're
I
putting
know.
down. And you have to be tough. I mean, you have to be, you don't, you know, well, what is that I say as a woman with menopause, sometimes the only difference between me and a rabid pit bull is lipstick. But no, you have to, you know what? You have to be strong. And I came up in this industry in news, and when there were very few women and very few women of color, and I was very young. I started anchoring the news at 22
Wow.
in New Jersey and New York City, covering mobsters, mayhem, and murder. I was an investigative news reporter in my 20s in New York City. So yeah, I've got some layers to me that a lot of people forget. I think they say, you know, people who just think I'm an actress are very mistaken. I'm also a CEO of my own company, Watts Works Productions. I was an owner of my talk show, so I had a little business
Wow.
savvy. And I've also had some bumps in the road. I've also, you know, as you know, I've been an entrepreneur working for myself for almost a quarter of a century. And it's, you know, entrepreneur Gary V. I love getting Gary Vaynerchuk on. He's just my media guru. Wrote the book Crush It, Read It. Jab, Jab, Punch. Great guy to follow if you're into social media. I'm a nerd, by the way. But he reminds us all that, you know, something, entrepreneurialism sucks. It really does. You have your up times, you have your down times, but you're constantly reinventing yourself. That's the way we live. So I am here to encourage people as the self-proclaimed, and now other people proclaim me as the reinventionist. Yeah, it's
that's beautiful.
You can do. It's a beautiful thing to do. And you know what? You might even find out that you've got gifts that you've been longing to get out. You may be a great author. You may be a great speaker. I just got qualified as a virtual speaker. I'm a certified virtual presenter. So that's a whole, we're reinventing the industry of being speakers now because of the COVID-19.
The COVID has done changed things
for you. I mean,
exactly.
The code
has done it for me. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Because normally I would be commuting, and I love my job working with children, but it's a lot, you know. So this opportunity, I mean, this is an opportunity that's blessed by God, you know.
That's
to even have the opportunity to come here and do this. And you know, I talk to my husband when I'm doing these little lives, and I'll be like, I just want to be the talent. I don't want to be editing stuff and making these little flyers and stuff like that. But like you said, you tap into something that you didn't even know was there in yourself. You know, I'm up here promoting all this stuff and pushing things out on Instagram. And you know, one of your peeps, Gina, is trying to schedule with me on Friday to get help from me to show her how to do Instagram, because she thinks I'm a guru. Like, really? But you discover things about yourself that you had no clue.
That's right. About. I had a young man I was working with many years ago, and this was back when computers were just coming out and nobody knew. And I was a nerd, he was a nerd. We'd be working on the computers, and anytime anybody had a problem with their computer, they would call him. And one day he was out of a job, he was depressed, he was in tears, and I said, listen, you have it in you. You're a great coach. You're always helping us believe in ourselves. You know everything about the computer. Start a business, The Computer Coach. That business still lasts to this day. That was 30-something years ago. So there are ways that sometimes people see things in you that you don't see in yourself. Kim Coles was the one who got me up on stage to be a stand-up comedian. Now I've performed at Caroline's on Broadway. I'm learning ways to reinvent the way that I perform online. You know, so there's always something in you. Even my talk show came from somebody believing I could do it when I didn't even really see that in me. So yes, this is a time. you know, this is a time where you could do, you're doing this. Listen, let me tell you something. You are doing a talk show right now, just like Tamron's doing,
I
just
sure
like,
am.
listen, just like Wendy Williams is doing. You can do it. They're from home. They're doing the same
Right.
thing you're doing. So really pump up your game right now, girlfriend.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
definitely.
talking. Give you another example. Tabitha A. Brown. She's an actress, but she's also a vegan.
Right.
Or she can cook. And she's got this great Instagram following. I'm one of them. She's got me eating vegan meals. She just got signed with CAA. So everybody's
Wow.
looking. Now's the time to shine, people. And do the
Exactly.
stuff. And if you want to be a voice actor, come to my webinar tomorrow. Go
Definitely.
to Rolonda.com and save your seat. And hey, voice acting may be for you. You can do it out of your closet.
Right. My son Miles is gonna do it. Y'all,
Good.
my son Miles is gonna do it. And I'm gonna do it too. Just give me a couple of minutes because I'm
That's
trying to write my
okay.
book
We'll
about when
see
I almost died. But after that, trust me, I'll be there. I'll be there.
Good. I'll save
Well,
you a seat.
I was talking to you about law of attraction, and I want to just tell you something that was on my my Instagram just 6 days ago, just to share with you just how big all of this is for me. So someone had posted that morning 6 days ago, when I do something hilarious, which let's face it is all the time, I think to myself, why do I not have my own television show? So I reposted it and I said, I woke up to this on my feed this morning. Could it be a sign from the universe? And then I also posted, after my day yesterday, I'd love to have my own show again, because I had a talk show on public access in the 90s. It was a talk show for teens. And I said, that was intense. 2 IG lives in one day. So after my second IG live that day, I was exhausted because I'm a one-woman show, and I just love to thank people for showing up. And I had just finished all of my stuff for that day.
Mhm.
And up on my screen pops, Rolonda Watts is going live.
Oh,
So
Lord.
you were done that webinar, and you had your little green screen,
I know.
and you were like, call me Auntie Ro, honey. And I was texting. I was just very engaging. And you couldn't figure out what my name was. You were like, Miss Tiny's.
Miss
You are right on it, honey.
I said, who is that lady up there with all that energy? I love this. The me.
I know. Hey, do the miss, y'all.
Do the miss, y'all.
And then
That
you
was what we
invited
were doing
us
when
to
we were
your webinar the next day. And I went, and the saying, your vibe attracts your tribe. Man, those people were so nice on that webinar.
Weren't they fantastic? It was like we'd all known each other already.
But that's you, though. That's what your spirit attracted.
Well,
And
good,
so I
'cause
don't know if I
that's
was
what
supposed
want.
to. I don't know if it's spamming or not. But I took down their names and I friended them all on Facebook. I friended like 6 of them on Facebook. And then Gina, I just reached out to her yesterday. But they are some amazing people who work in the industry. I mean, we're not just talking about people off the street, but even, I know you can even help people off the street. That's the versatility
Right.
of this
But you know
webinar.
something,
So
even-
the next one, you're going to be doing voiceover.
Voice
Talking about
voice acting. Now
that
that's what I
voice
call
acting,
it. People
exactly.
say, I want to be in voiceovers, or I want to make up characters for cartoons. It's like, you need to be in my workshop right now. You need to be in my master class immediately. I call it voice acting because it's really not about the quality of your voice. You know, I may have a voice that people say I have a voice that brings people out of the other room to say, oh, that's Rolonda. They know my voice. It was so funny because I play the medical examiner on Criminal Minds, and I wear a white lab coat. And my girlfriend said that she was in a room watching Criminal Minds, and a little boy came out and he looked at the TV and he goes, that's Professor Wiseman, because I wear a lab coat and he recognized the voice, but I'm an animation, you know. But I think that you can always learn something about the voice, even if you're already a voice actor. My class or course or workshop or retreat, whatever you want to call it, the 6 weeks that you're going to spend with me are going to be fantastic, because there are a lot of people who just do promos, or they may do commercial voice overs, but have never branched out into animation. And that's it. That's extremely exciting. I'm saying even when you reinvent yourself in your own lane. I mean, even though I'm Professor Wiseman for almost 20 years of
Yes,
Curious
you are.
George, it's also a book. And I'm saying, why not read the book in the voice of Professor Wiseman to children who are at home now and keep my brand going, keep Professor Wiseman and Curious George going, and also help some parents. Auntie Ro can help. You know,
Right.
sit the baby
Auntie Ro
down
can
and
help you. She can help you.
that's right. I'm Auntie Ro. So give me your little hoodlums for 30, 20 minutes, probably all they can take. And sit them there, and then you go use the bathroom or go get you some coffee and make you a sandwich, make a phone call, and I will entertain them. So I want
That's
to do
beautiful.
stuff like that too. And it's just things that we can do while we're home to help each other, support each other, and make sure that we come out in a better way on the other side. And I know how many people have never had the chance or even thought about taking a voice acting course, and this could certainly be it. There are many ways that you can reinvent yourself, and that's what we're talking about right now. And hey, these are just a couple of the ways to do it. So many different ways to do it. But I'm saying you keep up what you're doing, young lady, because you've already got a talk show. You're not trying, you're doing
I
it.
agree.
You got it. You're doing it. You're doing it.
Auntie Ro, for some reason, I can't hear you on my side. I don't know if it's like that for everybody else. Do you have anything on your microphone that might be down? I'm not sure. I don't know if it's just me.
Can you hear
Can
me?
everybody hear Auntie Ro?
Anybody? Can you hear me?
They got it. Maybe it's
Can you
just
hear
me. I'm just going to
Okay.
keep going. You know, the
All right.
show goes on.
Okay.
The show goes on.
You can hear. Thank you.
Oh,
Gina.
okay.
Money
As long
says
as
you can hear.
Gina
Good,
Lady
good.
Diva can
You
hear,
know you can hear
then
my
we're
mouth.
good. I'm just going to prop up my ears. That's all. Because I'm paying attention. I'm paying attention to everything.
Good.
Good.
Good. Yeah.
I was gonna say the reinvention part is just so, like I said, it's so phenomenal because when I was younger, I tried my hand at acting, never got my SAG card. As you know, it's kind of difficult. Yeah. I have a journalism degree. Like I said, I did the talk show for teens. And then I guess you would say everybody said I needed something to fall back on. I had a family, and I guess you would say I fell back on teaching and I never got back up. But I will say that the gift that I received from all of that is being able to touch so many young people, like with the fact that I respect them as humans, which sadly a lot of teachers don't. Even sometimes the people that I work with don't respect them as human beings first. And so that has been a gift to my life, to say that I devoted many years to doing that. One thing that I discussed with you was my son and even my stepson, both are comedians. One is 22 and the other is 12.
Great time to be comedians.
Right. Exactly. My younger son, and he did stand-up comedy like for 3 years in a row in elementary school. So, but one of the things that I discussed with you is just some of these children, and it's sad to say, but they don't like school, and there's just not a lot of opportunities. I am so serious, Auntie Ro. I would even, and I've even told you this, like I would love to craft something like this for children, because the situation is everybody does not learn by the same model. People learn in different ways and in different circumstances. And when you give my son a chance to get in front of anybody, I mean just anybody, he will shine. But if he's expected to sit there in this row and behave and do, and I'm a teacher, I'm unorthodox in my ways, in some ways, but you know, I don't believe that all the time we should sit there in straight rows. And I think that honestly, what you're doing is creating opportunities, alternatives for people who are not cookie cutter. Like me, honestly, I'm not a cookie cutter either. I'm not a cookie cutter type of person. So what do you think about that? Because I don't even know if you realize that you're actually opening the door for a lot of these younger generation people that feel so disenfranchised.
Well, it's interesting because my youngest voice acting student is 5 years old.
Wow.
5.
See what I'm saying?
He's 5, and
5.
he is delicious. He's already an actor. But as Auntie Ro tells him, you can't just, like as my parents told me, you better have a backup plan to the backup plan to the
Yes.
backup plan to the backup plan.
And the backup for that
And that
backup.
means
Mhm.
reinventing. He's an actor already. Everybody loves this kid. He's doing commercials. He's doing, working with the Wayans brothers. I mean, this kid is rocking at 5 years old. He's going big places. But I said, you've got to expand your life as an actor. What else can we do to reinvent ourselves as an actor? Are you a voice actor? Can you do any types of stunts? Is there anything that makes you, can you juggle? Can you ski? What's going to make you the greatest actor? And so you have to be all of those things. So now he's going to be a voice actor and a physical actor. He can go into commercials. He can do animation. There's so many different things. I think that what is important is that what education does, and I'm a proponent of education.
Yes.
Listen, one of my students, Gina, one of my students said the other day in class, she said, I think I'm getting a doctorate in voiceovers. I think
Yes.
this isn't just, I said, yeah, because I want you prepared. Because when you're prepared, you're no longer scared, Mish. And a lot of us are very frightened right now.
Yes.
And a lot of us don't know what the future is.
Right.
We don't know what's going to happen. So to thine own self be true. Know the gifts that you have and how you can put those things to work and turn them into valuable and maybe even profitable opportunities. Right. I know that education gives you a certain confidence. It gives you a certain preparation. It certainly gives you a tribe and a group of people who are supportive. When you're part of my whole reinvention retreat, and if you were part of the voice actors group, honey, we were just like, that's no joke what you felt the other day. That people, right. I mean, I've been around for a long time, Mish. People know me around for about 40 years now, and they trust me, and they know that I know what I'm talking about. I've been at the voice acting game for 23 years. I've been in broadcasting for 40 years, a talk show host. I know the mic back and forth. But yes. What I also know is how to bring people together to support each other, to have fun, accountability. And see, when you're in a group like that, you look after each other. You say, oh, you know something? I heard of a gaming audition the other day. I don't do gaming, but maybe that'll be something good for you. So you know each other. So you've got a tribe already in an industry. You can't walk out the house and meet people right now.
Right.
You can't go rub elbows and network in the audition rooms the way that we used to. Right. So you can come and be part of my group and begin to form. And of course, the people that I know in the industry are certainly going to come and contribute their great knowledge. And so it's just going to be a wonderful thing. If it's something you really want a career at, it's going to be wonderful. Or if it's just something, heck, you ain't got nothing else to do, come and have fun. You know, Bubba and them always told you had a great voice. Come on in there, let us go, put you to work.
I'm saying.
Let's see what you got. Let's see what
exactly.
You got. Because there's so many different forms. You could be an audiobook person. You could be a gamer. You could be doing animations like I do Legos and Curious George and Madagascar. You could do announcements for shows like on the next Judge Joe coming up.
Right. I know, and you know that voice. And you better get ready for Judge Joe when you hear that voice.
Or like or you could do movie trailers in a world.
Yes.
There's no, you can do. I'm the voice of Google because I did a consumer electronics show for them and did a virtual show with them, and I was the voice for Google. I'm 60 years old and I'm a Google voice. And I got paid. It was nice.
Right.
So audiobooks. I've done audiobooks. I wrote a book called Destiny Lingers.
Yes, you did write a book called Destiny Lingers. You definitely did. You want to tell us about that?
Reinventing. It's a book, so I'm an author. Now I'm going to read the book. I'll be an audio book voice for my book. And then I want to write the screenplay. Why not? We've got time.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You have the time. Right. Well, I was listening to what you were saying about education. And like I said, sometimes your head just keeps spinning and you have to stop it, because I had the journalism degree. I also have a degree in Pan-African studies. And in some ways, I felt like I just sat on that and did nothing with it. But that's never true. I
No,
need
man,
for
here's the thing.
There you-
Nobody can take education out your
nobody can ever
Now
take
look,
it away.
they can take you, they can take your purse, they can take your husband, they can take they can take your house, but can't nobody take your education.
Can't nobody take your
And
education.
you walk a different way on this earth when you have educated yourself in some way. It is so important. You just don't catch things.
No, you don't
You
just
just
catch
don't
them.
catch it. It's, as my mama used to say, class is taught, not caught. And the people who have been educated stand out.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
The casting directors, the job people who are going to give you that opportunity, they know who has done their work.
Right.
Then when in the voice acting, they know when you walk in, when we used to walk in that booth, now when you send in that audition, they know if you've taken a class or not.
Yes, they do.
And let me tell you this, if you came through me, they going to know the difference. Trust me.
Right. That's what I heard, because your name is on it.
That's right. That's right. But you know something, I can stand all day and preach about it, because it's one of the most fun careers I've ever had in my life. I have benefited tremendously from it. It is a career where you go in and you work, if you're lucky enough to get the job, because you do a lot of auditions and you get a whole heap of rejections. But if you can go in there and get a job where you work for 1 hour and then you get paid for years after that,
Wow.
it's an amazing
because of
thing.
the residuals,
Because
right?
of the residuals.
Can you explain residuals to us? Because some people don't understand residuals.
Sure. When you go in and you do a job, you get paid. Something, a lot of times, it used to be you get paid a lot of money. Today, you gotta really hustle, especially when you're starting off. But you might get at least paid scale if you're in the union, and you might make a little piece of change. Some of you may do non-union opportunities. Those are out there too. But what usually happens, and you have to check your contract and let your agent check that, or have a lawyer or somebody if you get a little contract, is every time they run it, you will get paid.
Right.
Now, they'll run a whole season, like they'll run a season of divorce court. And then after that, divorce court goes into, praise God, streaming. And it goes to Europe. And it replays and replays and replays. And Fox just sells it all over the place. And every time they sell it and my voice is announcing, I get paid again. I get paid what is called a residual effect. If you're in movies, you might do a movie. Look at Nemo. Look at Ellen gets paid royalties every time. Right. When Curious George, when your kids get bored and they're buying Curious George all over Hulu, thank you, babies. Thank you, babies, because you helping Auntie. But yeah, that's how you do it. There are other ways. You could be another way voice. You could be an announcer for an awards program. You hear MC Light does a lot of programs. She does she has a very distinct Soul voice Train awards and all that. That's another lane. You might be a voice for industrials. There may be people who, like a big company like Geico or what's another big company? McDonald's may be doing internal presentations for their executives, and they need a voice to voice over that. There are companies that want voices for their phones. Their phone bill. If you have a gorgeous Australian accent, honey, please come and be my office phone person. And let me throw you a little piece of change. So you hustle, but you gotta know the game to play it and to win it. You can't win a game you don't even know how to play.
That's true.
How do you even play a game you don't even know the rules of the game?
But see, that's what I think is important about your course, because you know the rules of the game. You could take a course elsewhere, but somebody with 40 years in the industry, you kind of can't match that. It's important to know the rules of the game.
Well, it's important to avoid a lot of easy mistakes.
Yes.
Let me give you a perfect example. When you go into any other place and you put on, what's this? Any place else they're called headphones, right?
Yes.
When you walk into the world of voice acting and the voice world, in a booth, these are called cans.
They're called what?
Cans.
Really? Cans?
Cans. Turn up my cans means give me more volume. Putting on my cans, you don't walk in there talking about putting on your headphones. They'd be like, "Oh, this is a beginner."
Like she don't know what's going
She
on.
don't know nothing. She didn't take Rose
They
class.
didn't teach her.
That's right. So get your can in a voice acting class so you are ready when this cloud lifts. You've already got a proven skill. I will get you ready to at least make your voiceover reel. I'll help you find your voice, help you find your equipment, help you know how to set up an at-home studio where you can find auditions without having an agent, what a casting agent is looking for. You're going to meet people in the voice industry who are going to give you information that I can give you all the information I can from this side of the mic. But what about that casting director? What are they looking for? What is that writer looking for? Do you know, half the time when we're doing animation, they'll hire an actor because they bring so many layers to that character that the animator gets excited about drawing that character. I mean, they can't, like I did a animation with Tyler Perry. It's called Tyler Perry's Medea's Tough Love. And I was co-starring with Tyler Perry playing the nemesis. I was evil man Betsy Holiday. I mean, just a horrible character. And
isn't it fun being evil though? Evil is fun. Like villains are fun.
I always play these evil characters. I play a lot of evil characters. Professor Wiseman's nice, but I play a lot of evil characters. But she was just a great character to play. And a lot of it was there's Charlie Adler, the director, who is a great director. He does Madagascar, a lot of great stuff. But he was such a great director. He allowed the character to do all kinds of things that allowed the animator to draw that as part of the character. Right. So it's a team, and understanding how that team works. And it's just not you, the voice. Oh, it's just you. No, there's an animator, there's a producer, there's a writer, there's a director, they're co-fellow and voice artists and agent. There's a whole community involved that you really have to understand the business if you really want to win. Now, I only want people who want to win. I don't take lazy people. I think y'all know that about me by now. And I really want people who are really, really serious about it because I hold great integrity for my industry and for my craft. So yeah, go to Rolonda.com, just stick your head in. It's a free webinar. We're going to talk about a lot of what we're talking about here. And then in June, we're going to kick off one heck of a course. It's going to be amazing. And I'm not taking masses and masses of people because I really want everybody to feel that they're getting the attention that, thank God, I have the time to give right now. Because, you know, usually I'm traveling all over the place. Don't have
that commute.
Back and forth. But I have the time to help people. I believe in it so much. I know there are people who will enjoy it. And there's some people who are going to win at it. They're going to win at the game. And the only way they can even start is if they enter it prepared and they take the first step of saying, yeah, I'm in. I'm ready to learn something new. And I'm ready to really lift my voice, find my voice, and turn it into something really valuable. Really valuable. Yeah.
So I know you said that voice acting was probably your favorite, but I just want to make sure, I don't think the audience knows exactly how versatile you are. So on my list, I have that you are a journalist, a talk show producer, correct? You produced that show.
Producer, host, yeah.
Right, and host.
And owner.
Voice actor, comedian, author. And did you also act and produce and direct?
Mm-hmm. I have not directed yet.
Okay.
Not yet. But I do want to direct at some point. You know,
and you want to do screenplays also, right?
That's right. That's right. That's something new to do. You know, Dr. Maya Angelou, who I called my auntie, who was my auntie Maya, who also endorsed my book.
That's something.
Right over here. I know it's backwards, but you can still see her name there. She endorsed the book.
Yes. Wow.
She did. Do you know that she did not write "I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings" until she was in her 50s? I did not know that. That's right. She was many things. She was a civil rights activist. She was a dancer. She was a writer. She was a director in her 70s. So these are the type of people who have always inspired me, you know, to do many things, to do all of God's gifts. And a lot of times it's not just because you want to, and I want to try this because it'll be fun, even though that has driven a lot of what I do. But also sometimes when your back's up against the wall, You know, I say you never know how strong a woman is. You know, the women are like tea bags. You don't know how strong we are till you put us in some hot water. And, you know, those are times when I have actually had to reinvent myself and have done it very successfully. I find that the rug was pulled out from under me with this COVID-19 thing too. And while we're stuck in the house, let's do the best we can, be of service where we can, help where we can,
Yes.
earn where we can, and be in a better, more positive, uplifting and uplifted place by the time this cloud lifts. And that will keep your mind off being worried, and because there's nothing we can do, folks. We have no control over this, and we're all in this together. So where we can, let's do some positive, let's do something good. Let's really do something good. That's what I say.
Right. Well, some of my friends
Uh-oh.
did not believe this is going to happen. They were like, how did you score that?
See, we don't
How
listen
did
to
you land that?
We don't listen to naysayers. We don't see, and that's what I love about my niece. We don't listen to naysayers. No. No.
But honestly, what I emailed you and what I felt in my spirit was the only question that ever remains unanswered. The only question that ever remains unanswered is the one that remains unasked. If you don't ask the question, you cannot get the answer. And I'm telling you, my soul said, just ask. Just ask. She could say no, but she could say yes. And you said yes.
Yes.
Can you tell me a time when your soul just said, just ask? Just ask the question. Because for me, this is like you're saying, Maya Angelou and James Brown, that's you for me right now. That's you for me.
Yeah, you know what? When I had my manuscript and I was like, my auntie Maya is the greatest author I've ever known. I would love it if she would just let me know I can write. Just please,
Right.
Am I making a fool of myself? Does anybody really want to hear my story? I mean, it's a romance. Is it corny? It's an interracial thing. Will I get in trouble talking about race? And so I took it to her, and she read it, and she came back and she sat me at her dining room table and she plopped it down and she says, I am so angry with you. And I said, why? What did I do? Split a verb? What did I do? And she said, you finished it. And she said, you keep this story going. She said, I'm angry that you finished it. And she said, I will endorse it. Now, had I not asked, and I was scared, it took months for me to ask her to please read my book. And finally, her assistant, Miss Clay, said, girl, just write the letter and I'll send it to her and you can ask. Because I was scared.
Really?
Had I not asked, you would not see this book endorsed by Dr. Maya Angelou. Yeah, you have to. I remember when I was in college, I went to Spelman College, and then I went and got my graduate degree in journalism from Columbia University. And when I finished, I had to get a job. And I remember calling networks and going, I'm going to be in your area. I'd love to sit down and learn, how to break into this business. Can I please come and sit and talk with you? Most people love to help people, especially people who are fresh out of school. See, people who are educated, people give you a chance because they believe you're serious.
Right.
Just don't be rolling up there saying, I'm cute. My mama and my aunties always told me I was cute. Can I get the job? No. What have you done? What have you done to show me that you really are serious?
Yes.
Because ain't nobody got time for this.
Right.
So
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Right. And one of the things I'm going to ask when I hire is, what did you do during the COVID-19 to better yourself? Did you take any courses? Did you read a book?
Right.
Did you build a website?
Right.
Let me tell you, if you go to Rolonda.com, I want y'all to know I built that website myself.
Did you really?
Yes, I did. I can compete with any millennial nerd at this age because I learned. YouTube is the greatest educational system on earth.
Right.
I agree. The time, you may be surpronda what you have.
Yes,
inside.
Avail yourself of it. Take advantage.
That's right. And then you
I want to specify it's ROLONDA, not the A. Okay.
And
And I must say, and he's probably gonna get mad at me for saying that, But my 12-year-old keeps saying, did you have your interview with Rolanda yet? And I'm like, her name is not Rolanda.
No, you tell him spell it. You tell him to pronounce it phonetically. Rolonda, not
Exactly.
Rolanda. R-O-L-O.
Don't be coming up in here with that. We gonna get this together today. Okay, we gonna learn this today.
But there's so much to learn, so many places. YouTube is a giant. Google can give you any information.
It is.
There are courses, not just mine on voice acting. There are courses on everything. And you know something, in my podcast, there's a lot to learn from. RolondaOnDemand.com. There's a lot of information on starting your at-home business. There's a lot of information about branding yourself. I talked to Jack Canfield, the brander of Chicken Soup. Talked to Dr. Lynn Richardson, who's the financial guru. Talked to, if you want to eat better and understand why Black folks are dying of COVID more than anybody else. I talked to a cardiologist. There's just some really good, juicy stuff. And an interview with Dr. Maya Angelou, one of her final interviews if you scroll down, you'll find it. But there's education everywhere. Just expand your mind, reinvent yourself, even if it's your way of eating so that you're more healthy and your family has a good immunity system. But now's the time for reinvention, reset, reboot, and rediscover some of those gifts that you need to dust off and some you've never even discovered.
Right. That's like a beacon for everybody. Like, this is the time, take advantage of the time. If you haven't gone through a tragic situation, really use this to your advantage, whatever that means for you in whatever way that you can for you. I want to go through some of the comments, and I wanted to give a little shout out to your Vibe Tribe. You didn't even know you created a Vibe Tribe, but Nicole G is on. Gina had to go. She had to study, but she was on. There was also Pamela. I don't know if it's Pamela. And then Mark Rottenstein. Do you know him?
Yes, no? Mark. Yeah, Mark. Mm-hmm.
He wants me to ask you about the elephant story, but I said, I don't want to traumatize her. It better not be nothing traumatizing.
The elephant story? Like an elephant?
Yeah, on the elephant, which is my favorite animal, by the way. Yeah, I love them because they're communal, they're very wise, and they're very caring. But it was something about an interview you did involving an elephant, and you were on an elephant?
Yeah, I rode an elephant through the Lincoln Tunnel, I think. Was it the Lincoln Tunnel? Or the Queen? No, back in the day when the circus would come to New York City and I was a reporter, I actually rode the elephant through New York City to Madison Square Garden. I was quite a reporter. Now, if you do stuff like that, people will remember you. I swear that was 40 years ago.
I know, right?
Mark remembers that from New York.
There was also Scott
you had to beat everybody on the
amazing.
Story. If you can ride an elephant, you can beat people. You can beat the other networks. And back then there were only 3 networks, remember?
See, I've always wanted to ride an elephant, but once he told me that story, I was like, do I really want to ride an elephant? Is that still on my bucket list?
Mark, I appreciate that. You know something? My father thought that the day he died, that was his favorite story. He said his daughter rode an elephant. And the other thing he was proud of,
so sweet.
And the other thing he was proud of is that I was shot at in a helicopter by the Hells Angels. But,
wow, that takes some gumption right there.
Yeah, well, yeah, for the Hells Angels, I think.
Wow. Well, you had some other angels on your side. That's
I
for sure.
swear, I know.
Wow. So tell us about the webinar. The next webinar is when again?
It's going to be tomorrow. Tomorrow at 4:00.
Tomorrow at 4.
Yeah, thank you, Nicole. I appreciate that. Thanks, Mark. That's a nice memory, Mark.
And there was Scott. Do you remember Scott C?
Scott
Chambers. He was in the industry. He's a voiceover actor in the industry.
Oh, yeah, Scott from
and he was
over at the
you had an amazing group of people there.
Yeah,
and their spirit is very similar to yours, just wanting to help and cheering me on like that.
Absolutely. It's about winning, honey. And this is something I think that if you're really interested in, you can win in. And we're going to be talking about the art of voice acting tomorrow at 4:00 Pacific time, 7:00 Eastern time. Right. And you have to have the Zoom pass. So go to Rolonda.com, ROLONDA.com, right, and just save your seat. It's absolutely free. And then I can send you all the information later today about the Zoom room number and all of that. And get your questions ready for the voice acting world. Any voice questions you have, or any questions about just reinvention in general. There's so many different ways you can reinvent yourself. I've been an author, a journalist, a talk show host, podcaster, on and on. But the voice acting is something everybody can do. It's so much fun, and you can do it from right at home. So why not? Save your seat. It's absolutely free. Go on and get reinvention on the brain, and let's do some voice acting and have some fun at the same time tomorrow, 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern time. And Mish, thank you so much, honey. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Good. And
Thank you so much.
let people know, you have a lot of my nieces are sitting there cheering, send them to Auntie Ro. And my girlfriends are sending their grandkids. It's a nice gift. Just tell them, go and hang out. And if they like it, get them a course. 6 weeks, I'll keep them busy all summer. Trust and believe.
Especially, yes, for the summer, definitely. And then also what happened with my son, a lot of the colleges, they just kind of came to a full stop. And I don't want him to stop, as you said, developing his craft. It's a craft.
Right.
And in the industry, it's not always what you know, but it's also who you know. And I'm just saying, the opportunity to affiliate with such a warm presence as yourself, and just an amazing, good, awesome spirit like yourself. You don't get many opportunities like that. So
thank you, honey. Well,
I
want
highly
you to
recommend everybody go to the webinar.
Thank you.
Yes.
You. I promise you, in 6 weeks, you'll be in a totally different place, and you'll be ready to get started in a brand new industry if you do the work and you're ready to go in. Listen, you're going to have homework too, so get ready.
Yes, but homework is important though.
Yeah.
Homework helps you to assimilate. Like, I'm a teacher, I know. You have to assimilate the information and use it for yourself. So 6 weeks, just to put that in perspective, for teachers or students before the school year starts, you could be in a completely different, frame of reference, frame of financial understanding. Just everything could change for you within just 6 weeks. That's right. That's not a very long time. So
that's right.
Hopefully people will take advantage of that. Well, I just want to say thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm very proud
amazing.
Of you. You did a great job. I'm very proud
you.
Of you. I even like your virtual background there.
I know. It kept going off. My husband and my son kept changing it. Well, let me tell the audience, join me back. I'll be back here at 5 and at 7. Auntie Ro, you're welcome to pop in one of those times if you want. I'm going to have a question and a Q&A at 5. And then at 7, I'm going to have my guest, Kevin Powell, who's a stand-up comedian. And then I'll be off of here for the day.
Listen,
so make sure you guys check out Rolonda.com, ROLONDA. That's a cheer. ROLONDA.
I love you. I love you. I hope you'll join the webinar tomorrow. I need your spirit.
I will. I'll show up. I will definitely come.
And remember, it's not only who you know, it's who knows you. And if you keep your face out there, keep doing what you're doing, you're going to be fine, Mish. Don't give up. Don't give up.
Thank you. I won't. Auntie Ro told me, and I'm not giving up. My Auntie Ro told me the truth, y'all, okay?
And you got me. You tell the naysayers I said that.
I know, right? Bye. Bye, naysayers. Bye.
Bye, baby. I got to get back to work.
Love you. Thank you so much. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Get that book and join that course, y'all. Join that course.
See you, sweetie. Thank you so much.
Thank you.